Every day, usually in the morning, sometime between 5 and 11 a.m., we release our Central Indiana Scoreboard show. It's similar to ESPN Radio Sports Center, but focuses on the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, Ball State, Butler, and the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana. Please join us for your daily audio sports section. You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 288.2, our girls track and field state finals preview with the top contenders in every event and all the local athletes competing at the finals at North Central on Friday, with the Mengelt Formulation predicting the 2025 state champion and the top contenders.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, track and field fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and our girls track and field state finals preview. Today is Saturday, June 7, 2025. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, podcasting today from headquarters in Jeffersonville. Producer Susie is sound asleep. Coming up, we preview all 16 events at Saturday's track and field state finals at North Central High School. The field events begin at 3, followed by the 3,200-meter relay at 4:15, the sprints and 110 hurdle trials at 5, with the finals beginning at 6:15. At the end, I will reveal who we believe is going to win the team state championship with the Mengelt Formulation, which is a combination of the seeding and my opinion of what's going to happen on Saturday. And man, is it going to be a close team race this year. But first, we ask you to please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. It would help us tremendously, and it would really help you as well. Get great content from the Central Indiana Sports Report. Subscribe so you don't miss a single segment. Coming up this weekend, we will have, of course, our girls track and field state final scoreboard show sometime on Sunday. Our boys track and field results will be out later Saturday. We will also have girls tennis state finals results, baseball regional results, and softball scoreboard all Sunday. And of course, continued coverage of the Indiana Pacers and all kinds of stuff. And again, please check out our daily scoreboard show, your daily Central Indiana audio sports section. Warren Central is the defending state champion, beating Bloomington North by 16.5 points last year for the Warriors' 6th team state title, their first since 2017. Hamilton Southeastern was 3rd, Carmel's 5th, Noblesville 7th, Delta 8th, and Fishers finished 12th locally. Last week's regional champions were Carmel at Lafayette Jeff, Fort Wayne Carroll at Carroll, North Central at Lawrence Central, Brownsburg at Whiteland, Valpo at Portage, Floyd Central won the regional at Evansville, Bloomington North won the Bloomington Regional, and Warsaw won the Warsaw Regional. When we do our track and field previews, we usually start with the 100, then do all the running events, the hurdles, the relays, then the field events. But for this one, we're going to go through the individual events by start time. And it starts at 3 o'clock with the discus, the long jump, and the pole vault. We start with the discus, where it looks like there are two serious contenders for the individual state championship. Whiteland Jr. Carly Vandelingen was the Ben Davis regional champion, going 148.9. Greensburg senior Olivia Grimes won the Bloomington regional championship by going 148.7. The third seed is Silver Creek sophomore Sophia Scott. Western junior Elise Walden, the Lafayette regional champion, is the 8th seed. Zionsville's Megan Winery is 9th. Also in the field locally is Fishers junior Maya Tobias. Carmel freshman Amila Holder. Oak Hill senior Janessa Shields, who was the Carroll regional champion. and Eastbrook senior Mia Bustos. Kaya Crook is the top seed in the long jump. The Heritage Christian senior is going to have a big day on Saturday. She was the Lawrence Central Regional Champion by going 19-3. Her top competition, it looks like, will come from Whiteland Jr. and Ben Davis Regional Champion Elnora Stevenson. She went 19 feet. Also a serious contender is Terre Haute North freshman Zenaria White, who went 18 feet 10 inches last week. A very serious contender to wind up on the podium is Oak Hill senior Ellie Campbell, who is the Fort Wayne Regional Champion. Also in the field locally is 17 seed Emily Norris, a Carmel senior. Franklin Jr. Addison Martin and Center Grove senior Chloe Walker are the top seeds in the pole vault. Actually, Martin's the top seed. She beat Walker in last week's Ben Davis Regional Championship. On fewer misses, they both cleared 12 feet 3 inches. Clearing 12 feet last week were Garin Catholic sophomore Amelia Smith, who won the Lafayette Regional Championship, and Lawrence North senior Jane Paddock, who won the Lawrence Central Regional Championship. Also locally in the pole vault field is Westfield senior Alexandra Hamilton. She is the 6th seed after clearing 11-9 last week at the regional. Her teammate Ella Jenkins, a junior, cleared 11-6 and is the 11 seed. Northwestern junior Emma Baker cleared 11 feet last week and is the 12 seed. The high jump begins at 3:30, and again, Heritage Christian senior Kaya Crook is the number 1 seed. She cleared 6 feet last week, the only athlete in the state to do so, making her the Lawrence Central Regional Champion. Warren Central sophomore Kira Smith is the number 2 seed. She was one of only 2 to clear 5'10". The number 3 seed is Northview junior Carson Buck, who cleared 5 feet 8 inches last week to win the Ben Davis Regional Championship. Hamilton Heights junior Waverly Wolliver is the 8th seed after clearing 5'5 last week. And my favorite athlete in the field, sorry everybody else, is Madison Grant senior Ryland Stenger, who is tied for the 17th seed after clearing 5'3 last week. Congratulations to one of my favorite students at Madison Grant High School on making it to state. Also clearing 5'3 last week and making the state finals field is Ashanta Curry of Logansport. She is a senior. Also starting at 3:30 is the shot put, and Whitco's senior Gwen Howard is your number 1 seed. She was the Warsaw Regional Champion after a throw of 47 feet 3 inches last week. The number 2 seed and a state championship contender is Western junior Elise Walden. She was the Lafayette Regional Champion last week, going 43-11.5. Whiteland's Carly Vondenlingen, I can't believe I pronounced that right twice, is also the top seed in the discus. She's the number 3 seed in the shot put after winning the regional championship in both events last week. Fisher senior Macy Miller is the 5 seed, and Eastbrook senior Mia Bustos, who also made both the shot put and discus state final after winning the Carroll Regional Championship last week, is the 9 seed. It's going to be a big day for the Carmel Greyhound relay teams, and could be a really big day for the Carmel Greyhounds. They are the number 1 seed in the first running event of the day, which is the 4x800 relay, which is scheduled to begin at 4:15. Franklin Central is the 2nd seed, followed by Lafayette Harrison. Hamilton Southeastern, Westfield, and Noblesville also have a chance of placing in the top 9. The first individual event final of the day is the 100 hurdles. The prelims for the hurdles are at 5:15. The final begins at 6:15 after the opening ceremonies. South Bend Washington Junior and Warsaw Regional Champion Adriana Swanson is the number 1 seed. She was the only athlete in the state to go under 14 seconds last week at the regional, going 13.97. New Albany freshman Jada Harper was the Evansville regional champion. She went 14 flat and is the number 2 seed. Pike sophomore Jay Brown was the Ben Davis regional champion at 14.02. Hamilton Southeastern senior Ella Blackmore is a contender in this event after winning the Lafayette Regional Championship last week. She's also going to be the favorite in the other hurdles event coming up. Eastern Hancock sophomore Isabella Sotelo was a double Lawrence Central Regional champion, including in the 110 hurdles. She is the 10 seed and has an excellent shot of making the finals. Kokomo sophomore Jaslyn McKay is the 17 seed. Delta junior Jillian Barr makes a return trip to state and is the 18 seed. Western freshman Allison McKittrick is the 25th seed. The 100-meter dash to determine the fastest girls runner in Indiana. The prelims begin at 5 o'clock with the finals at 6:25, and Chesterton Jr. Kennedy Bradley is the number 1 seed. She is the Portage Regional Champion and finished 5th in this event last year. Brownsburg freshman, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Nife Ogunlie, the Ben Davis Regional Champion, is the number 2 seed, followed by Fort Wayne Carroll sophomore Nadia Ford, who of course was the Fort Wayne Regional Champion and finished 6th in the 100-meter dash last year. Heritage Christian senior Kaya Crook is also a contender in the 100-meter dash. She, of course, is the top seed in the high jump and the long jump. She's going to have a busy day. Omeme Anyanwu, a Zionsville senior, is the 8th seed after she won the Ben Davis Regional Championship last week. And Carmel senior Rebecca Bellinger is seeded 20th. The 1600-meter run begins at 6:35, and Floyd Central freshman Anya Zeller is one of the top contenders. The number 1 seed is Concordia junior Mallory Weller, who won the Fort Wayne Regional Championship in 4:43.81. Carmel junior Sadie Foley will also be a contender. She won the Lafayette Regional Championship and finished 12th in this event last year. Hamilton Southeastern senior Elizabeth Butler is the 7 seed. Carmel senior Olivia Munt, the 11 seed. Hamilton Southeastern Katie Campbell is seeded 11th. And Noblesville junior Ansley Applegate is the 20th seed after finishing 16th in this event last year. Brownsburg is the top seed in the 4x100 relay, which is scheduled for 6:45. Lawrence North is the number 2 seed, followed by Fort Wayne Carroll. They all pretty much have the same regional time, so should be a great race. Carmel is also a contender. They were just 0.4 of a second off top seed Brownsburg's time at the regional last week. Hamilton Southeastern is the 8th seed and will run in the fast heat. Fishers is the 16 seed and Delta is 26th. Zionsville's Omema Anyamwu is the top seed in the 400-meter dash. She was the Ben Davis Regional Champion and is the defending state champion. She went 54.76 last week at the Ben Davis Regional, almost a second and a half faster than her state championship time last year. Hamilton Southeastern sophomore Anissa Lammy is the number 2 seed after she won the Lafayette Regional Championship last year. Quite an improvement she made after finishing 27th in the state last year as a freshman. Tri-West sophomore Kylie Rigolaldo is the 3rd seed. She finished 16th in the event last year. Hamilton Heights sophomore Nora Rieger is a definite all-state contender. She's the 5 seed. Same with Carmel senior Olivia Sabalo, who is the 6th seed. Mount Vernon freshman and Lawrence Central regional champion Catherine Simmons is seeded 8th, and Carmel senior Gabriela Grande Rosas is seeded 11th. A lot of local contenders in the 400-meter dash. Can't wait to see what happens there. Also, LaPel Jr. Layla Wilson and Pendleton Heights Jr. Addison Stanley will run in the 400-meter state finals. In the 300 meters, which is scheduled for 7:20, it's Hamilton Southeastern Royal seeded number 1 and 2. Ella Blackmore is the number 1 seed after winning the Lafayette Regional last week in 42.94, 400ths of a second faster than her teammate, junior Chloe Sinnefeld. Brownsburg junior Sophia Mbesso was the Ben Davis Regional champion and is the number 3 seed. Eastern Hancock sophomore Isabella Sotelo was the Lawrence Central Regional champion and is the number 4 seed, a definite contender in this one. Greenfield senior Addison Buckley is seeded 10th. Kokomo freshman Gianna Thornton, 13th. Rochester senior Audrey Wagner is 14th. And Fishers junior Devin Day is the 20 seed in the 300 hurdles. Bloomington South junior Ellie Barada seems to be in a league of her own in the 800-meter run, which is scheduled for 7:45 on Saturday evening at North Central High School. Barada won the Bloomington Regional Championship in 2:07.46, almost 5 seconds faster than the second fastest in any regional in the state. Barada was second to Delta's Nikki Sutherland in the 800 in last year's state finals. Culver Academy's sophomore Emily Baxter, who won the Warsaw Regional Championship, is the number 2 seed. And Munster senior Savannah Nutzel, the Portage Regional champion, is the 3 seed. Also competing locally, Carmel sophomore Larkin Taylor is the 5 seed. Hamilton Southeastern senior Sierra Kepner, the 7 seed. And Noblesville senior Brinkley Cooper is the 9 seed. Also, Zionsville Junior and Ben Davis Regional champion Katie Green is seeded 11th. And Fisher senior Isabella Murch is the 14 seed. All of them were in a incredibly fast and competitive 800 meters at the Hoosier Crossroads meet just a couple of weeks ago. And they'll all be competing for all state spots on Saturday. Fort Wayne Carroll sophomore Nadia Ford is the top seed in the 200-meter dash. The 200 trials are scheduled for 5:40, the final at 8:05. The second seed is Brownsburg freshman Nife Agunlie. I think I got that right on the first time, both times twice. Who was the Ben Davis Regional champion, just 1600ths of a second off Ford's pace. Zionsville senior Dijane Anyanwu is the 3 seed. Also locally, competing in the 200, Carmel senior Emily Norris, Zionsville sophomore Mariah Henry, Mount Vernon senior Talea Broaders, Noblesville freshman Ainsley Minerding, Fishers junior Zania Pineda, and Delta junior Mia Bollinger. Norris, Henry, and Broaders in particular have an excellent shot of getting into the final and being an all-state athlete. The 3,200 meters is scheduled for 8:15, and the top seed is Fort Wayne Concordia junior Mallory Weller. However, the number 2 seed is Pendletonite senior Ava Gerald, the defending 3,200 meter state champion, and last week's Lawrence Central Regional champion. Should be a great race between those two, and Chatard junior Julia Score. Carmel sophomore Annabelle Pollard was the Lafayette Regional champion and is the 5 seed. Also locally, Hamilton Southeastern senior Elizabeth Butler was 4th in this event last year, is the 9 seed. And Huntington North sophomore Alice Friesen was 8th in this event last year, is the 13 seed. And the final event of the night is the 1600 relay, and that is scheduled for 8:30, and it's going to be a big one. This year's state championship, according to the Mengelt Formulation, is going to come down to 3 teams. It's going to be Carmel, Hamilton Southeastern, or Brownsburg, and it just happens that the top 3 seeds in the 1600 are Carmel, Hamilton Southeastern, and Brownsburg. Carmel and Hamilton Southeastern appear to be in a league of their own. Also, Westfield is the 10 seed, Noblesville 16, and Hamilton Heights 19. And according to the Mengelt Formulation, the final score of this state finals will be Carmel 50, Hamilton Southeastern 47, Brownsburg 46. It looks like Fort Wayne Carroll is the fourth best team in the state, and a bunch of tightly packed teams that will be fighting for a top 5 spot will be Heritage Christian or Kaya Crook all by herself. If she has a big enough day, Heritage Christian could finish in the top 4. Also, Fort Wayne Concordia with the Weller sisters. Bloomington South, Pendleton Heights, if Ava Gerald and Anya Zeller can both win state championships. Lawrence North, Zionsville, North Central, and perhaps Chesterton should all be in that fight for a top 5 spot. As a lot of you know, listening through the last year, track and field is one of my absolute favorite sports in the state finals. And Indiana is amazing. Can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to report it to you on Sunday. Good luck to all of our local athletes at the state finals, and in particular to our 2 teams that'll be fighting for a state championship in Carmel and Hamilton Southeastern. Thank you so much for listening. We could really use your help spreading the word about the Central Indiana Sports Report. All you have to do is hit the share button and either text it or share it with the track and field fans in your life or on social media. If you're willing to help us out, we will certainly accept. Also, the Daily Scoreboard Show, really good. Go check it out. I put a lot of time and effort into it just for you. By the way, as producer Susie says, it doesn't have to be friends and family or track fans. You can just shout it out on the street to somebody. Hey, check out the Central Indiana Sports Report. It's pretty cool. Or even your enemies. Hey, even your enemies deserve a good sports podcast, don't they? Nah, they probably don't. Not your enemies. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.